know where we are on the screen, but good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Cup of Coffee or Tea. Clearly, I have not had enough yet. With American Scouser, myself, Gally will be hosting. Cozzy is with me. We are, we are not going to do a full hour of losing our minds. Yes, we are. But we will try to jump around a bit before we get at it. Everyone in the group, anyone who's watching, please, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, share the link out there. It helps us a lot. Subscription will get you notifications on upcoming shows, whether it's pre-match, watch-alongs, and of course, you'll get all the great content that we put out here. So appreciate that very much. If you can, please like, subscribe to the channel. All right, Cozzy, before we get into it, let me ask you, yesterday was Thanksgiving. You are here in the States. What do you guys do at the Cosgrove household on Thanksgiving? Do you guys go to your wife's family? Do you have them at your new palatial estate? Like what was the plan for the Thanksgiving holiday that must have been something they had to teach you about when you moved here?
Yeah, I found Thanksgiving a weird holiday when I moved here because it's just too close to Christmas and it's the same shit, basically, with just different food. So I felt like we had to do something kind of unique. So I actually do like a golf scramble tournament, which I organize with the
Okay.
boys. It's like 12 of us get together every Thanksgiving, do a scramble tournament. We have little trophies, a few drinking games and things, which kind of breaks it up. We usually go to the in-laws' house, but this year they are out of town seeing my sister-in-law. But they have actually taken my 4-year-old with them this time.
Oh,
So we actually went to the neighbour's house. The old neighbour invited us over in their late 70s, and they were going to do it on their own. So I said, let's kind of get together and do something. So we had food there, and yeah, bro, it was nice. It was quiet, and it's. But yeah, I do find Thanksgiving a weird holiday. Can we have Thanksgiving in June? I don't want to see the same people 3 weeks later. When like you get a big family get together and go, I'll see you all in 3 weeks. It's like, no, that's not when family get togethers are meant to be. Otherwise, it's just not to get together. Do you know what I mean? You're just together. Like it's not meant to be. It's meant to be like a big organized thing. But yeah, so that's what I did. It was nice.
That was nice of the neighbors to invite you over. Also nice of your in-laws to take Millie with him. Like, I bet that was the gift. Like, you might as well tell the in-laws, like, thank you for the greatest Christmas gift of all time. You gave me 5 weeks early. Can I have a second Christmas gift? And can we not do Christmas? Because I could have saw you all at Thanksgiving, but you left town. I completely understand that. We do a very small thing now. My mom used to host Thanksgiving. That was the only part that like made that holiday special for me. I grew up in the city in Springfield. That's where my mom's family's from. I have 22 first cousins, Irish Italian family. So Cozzy, what my holidays are like, 60, 70 drunk Irish Italians all together in one room, who have all been close in family their whole lives. So it was craziness, but we would host that and people didn't venture out. My dad could basically only afford to buy a house way outside of Springfield. And so to my family, we lived in the country, which just basically means we lived 20 minutes out of the greater Springfield area. And that was a freaking lifeline away because I had to get on 2 highways and go down a mountain. Craziness as it sounds. But they would come to our house. So as a kid, to have my cousins, aunts, uncles, everyone at my house, that was always fun for Thanksgiving. But as we got older, we kind of broke into small groups. Now we go to my sister's house. The best part about it is it's literally around the corner. It takes me 5 minutes to get there. I get there 10 minutes before the appetizers go out, and I get to leave 15 minutes after we clean up. So it's like a 2-hour in and out of good food. And I don't mind the turkey dinner because I eat it once a year. If I ate it 3 times a year, I would complain about it for probably 4 months. But it's the only time I eat turkey all year long. So man, we got through 4 minutes and 42 seconds without talking about the Reds, and it genuinely felt therapeutic and wonderful.
Yeah, I feel renewed.
Football Flashbacks is in the comments. Get your comments in. We'll bring them in throughout the show. Hey, gents, how's it going? I just put on a bet for us to lose to West Ham.
Full price.
Close margin. I think just 3-2, not so bad. I don't think we get battered, but Nuno has already gotten the best out of Slot last season, and Slot couldn't beat Nuno, so it'll be tough. I'm not taking parallels to a Forest match last year. How Nuno sets his teams up and the way West Ham exploits folks with their big, tall center backs, the ability on set pieces. Paqueta has played himself back into a level of form that saw big clubs around the world be interested in him.
Yeah.
And they still have Jared Bowen, which to me is the best counterattacking winger outside of one of the big clubs in England, probably. Like someone I fear, because I think every single club in England, even Arsenal, goes into a match with West Ham circling number 20 on the sheet saying, we make a mistake in the wrong part of the pitch, it'll be 2 passes, he'll be in. And, you know, if he gets one-on-one and gets a clear shot, he'll take it. Feel like we have to be resilient. Let's talk a little bit here about this match and where we go with it. When you're picking your lineup for this match, we've talked about doing this before. Do you have any eye on the Sunderland fixture being just 72 hours later and kind of picking your teams? Because let's be real, to have a legit renaissance of any kind, you need 6 out of 6 points in these next 2 fixtures. Like, I don't even think it's even a question. You have to find a way to win at West Ham and have a side that can beat Sunderland at Anfield, or, you know, you might as well shut the lights off.
There's no more picking certain players to play in certain games. It's just win the next game and try and win a game. Try and keep a clean sheet somehow or some way. There's some Liverpool a really bad football team. Like a really, really bad football team. And we can sit here and go, well, you know, they got good players. Yeah, of course. We have unbelievable individual players. But we are a bad football team. And we do things what bad football teams do. So, in essence, that's a bad football team, whether we like that or not. Bad football teams lose 9 and 12. Bad football teams give away cheap goals. Bad football teams don't learn from their mistakes. Bad football teams don't take their chances. Bad football teams don't know how to press. That's what they do, and that's what Liverpool do. So that's what Liverpool are.
And they point fingers at each other on the pitch when things go wrong and get worse. Like, but that happens, and you are right though. These are things that we're seeing. At first, we said these are bad habits creeping in. Now they're not bad habits. They're consistent mistakes and issues because it's not changing. So a couple guys here in the chat. Josh said that bit of Thanksgiving banter before the football talk was like tasting some amazing appetizers before finding out your grandma burnt the turkey to a crisp. I will say my sister is an amazing cook. She did not cover herself in glory with yesterday's turkey. Ooh, it's a good thing she doesn't listen to this, but yeah, no. She definitely she put in, like, if we were rating her, she gave us a, you know, Kirkhez versus Burnley first half. Like, yeah. It wasn't like even Kirkhez the other day against PSV, where like there were a couple moments and an issue of 2, but he played pretty well. And it was a
stinker from start to finish.
Complete stinker.
She got hooked halfway through making the mashed potatoes. She got hooked.
To be honest, I think my mom hooked her the moment she tasted the turkey. Like, I taught you how to do this. Like, at my family Thanksgiving yesterday, it was definitely Lee out. Like, that was absolutely.
Make another pot of gravy because this turkey needs a bit more gravy on it. Yeah.
You know that scene in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation where it's just pouring it and he's clicking? It was basically like, my dad holds no punches, so he immediately went in with like a 2-footed tackle. And it was just like, Lee, what's going on here? Is this sponsored by water? Like, it was just unbelievable. So, but we got some more. We had some more comments come through here. We are going to get to some transfer news, including the Konate deal and the talk. We'll talk about signing Gahey. You can't get enough Stephen Cocker jokes at this time of year. But then again, you've kind of earned that. Bob Pladoke says slot out. So we'll get to that topic, I think, organically through all this. Did you hear the press conference this morning, Cozzy, in preparation here of the West Ham United match?
Yeah, I watched it, mate. It's just the same old drivel, to be honest. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's literally. I don't know what else he's supposed to do. He gets asked questions. He's got to answer the questions. I don't think I did like the one thing. I thought it was important He tried to put it all on himself after the Forest loss. At the same time, Virgil was putting it all on the players, which is, I think, what either side of the leadership should be doing. I did like in the press conference, he had a chance to do that again, say, it's on me. I have to do this. Jurgen was great at that. But Jurgen was also great at pulling things together and being like, we are all in this. Like everyone from the guys in the boot room to the physios to the, everybody needs to help us get out of this. And I did like that he made it more of a concerted, we have to do this together. The media tried to give him landmines, right? They tried to get him to say, do you think the players are quitting on you? Are you disappointed in your players? He doesn't take those traps. At the same time, I need to see a performance on the pitch that replicates the performance he gives us post-match and pre-match. Because to me, I don't need 8 out of 10s in the press conference. I need to see some level of improvement on the pitch. How does this translate?
Nothing. It doesn't translate. Whatever he says in the press conference doesn't translate to the pitch. Clearly, Liverpool are getting whacked every week. So, listen, mate, I can sit here. You know about my doubts even last season about the manager. I'm not here to, people might be surprised by that when Liverpool are about to win the league title. I just thought we were far too open at times in games, and I didn't think we killed teams enough. I always think when you last season, when you're beating teams 1-0 and 2-1 and being or 2-0, I always felt like teams can get at you still. Because if you beat a team 2-0, I think we had like 11 2-0 wins last season. Oh, team just takes one goal, and before you know it, they have a big 10 and they can get back into a game. Do you know what I mean? I have always felt that sometimes in games, and we had that conversation off here. I'm not interested about the manager's position right now. And if Liverpool want to make a decision, they can make a decision all they like, and we can discuss replacements or whatever you want to talk about. Liverpool just have to win fucking football matches, and you just have to stop being morons. But the manager has to stop doing the old Sergio Bob stepping on rakes at every given turn, in terms of picking Canate, in terms of picking that same midfield. Gal, Liverpool, we can talk about the window all we like and how the manager's been left and stuff like that. This manager was in a very strong position in the summer when it came to signings. He just won the league title. So he's in a very strong position to say yes or no on certain players. Supposedly the rumours have come out he was overruled on the Diaz situation.
Well, it's actually, that was one of the talking points. So let's go to it.
If you can believe indicator, but I know other people have reported it as well.
There have been other people, and it was a good summer for Indy Kayla. I feel like, Indy Kayla for a long time. The little side note here, Indy Kayla was a spoof account for a long, long time, but it is pretty much well known. It was purchased by actual journalists to start.
Even if it was overruled, right? I don't even care. There's also a part of this where he should have walked in on day one of the window and went, I need a centre mid. I'm sorry. I've said this for 18 months. Liverpool need a centre midfielder. We have 3 football players to play 2 positions. Endo's not an option. It's not an option. The manager doesn't see him as an option because he doesn't start him in serious football matches. So we have Jones, Maka, and Gravenberch to play in those 2 positions. That's poor. That's poor. And I do feel sorry for him in that sense, that he's been left at. If Liverpool haven't went to sign a centre midfielder for him. I don't know about you. I don't want to see Szoboszlai playing in one of those 2 positions. I like Szoboszlai further up the field where he can bait the press. So I don't consider Szoboszlai being that option. I look at centre half. The Mark A thing now looks absolutely ridiculous that it hasn't been done for the fucking basis of a few million 2 weeks before the window ended. Like, it's just literally a landmine that Liverpool have stepped on. Before people say, well, Leone got injured, so you can count yourself unlucky. Leone was never starting Premier League games this season. He was never meant to start them. So if Liverpool were starting Leone in Premier League games this season, then something's went seriously wrong with Canate and Gomez. Leone, that's what Leone was. Leone had only played 20-odd games for Parma coming into Liverpool. So Liverpool have been now left in this situation for the Mark A. Liverpool have sold Luis Diaz and haven't replaced him with a left winger. We were all happy with Diaz leaving in terms of the money. I get that. But we all thought that Liverpool would go and sign a left winger. Liverpool have got issues all over the field. But there's also a part of this, Gal. But that's what, by the way, when I'm pressed for this, I feel sorry for him in that sense. I feel sorry for him in that sense. Okay? And I have some sympathy for the manager there. But I've got no sympathy for the team that he's picking. Zero. I don't have sympathy for the Canate situation. I have no sympathy for his right-back situation. You knew you were getting into bed with Conor Bradley. You knew what you were getting into. We knew what Conor Bradley is. Conor Bradley is this type of player who's going to pick up injuries consistently. That's on you. That's on, literally, you could say, no, Frimpong's not the man. Frimpong, you know what I mean? And Conor Bradley, blah. You can have that conversation. You keep picking McAllister, trying to play him into form when he's poor, man. He's a poor footy player at the moment. He's bad. He's not good. But you've only got 3 players to do it. So what have you got to do, Gal? You've got to find solutions. You've got to find solutions. The manager's picking the same side, doing the same shit. He's looked at that Forest game on the weekend, and then went, you know what? For PSV, the keeper has to be changed because he's ill, and made one other change, and that was it. Really? Really, Gal? And then you can sit there and say lack of options and that, right? And okay, you can feel sorry for him for the options. Hey, mate, if Gomez is not an option, don't play him. He shouldn't be at Liverpool Football Club if he's not an option. If Endo's not an option, why is he here? If Chiesa's not an option, why is he here? You need to win it. The way you win titles and the way you win the big trophies, you have to have 23 options, 24 options to start 40 matches for you. Do Liverpool have that? Even when everyone's fully fit, do Liverpool have 23 options?
No, I think they have 21 or 20, but I think that's what the manager wanted. I think that's what Pep has said he's wanted in the past. And you can have a couple projects, the kids and the Neonis and the Rios. Yep. But the problem is that only works if everyone stays fit, which they haven't. And if you have your top players playing like top players. But when Konate is a liability, you could argue at times this year, Konate's been a liability the entire season. McAllister has been so far off his top form.
Terrible.
Jones has had a couple niggles that kept him out and unavailable for a week or two at a time.
Is that a surprise?
Which you have to be prepared for.
Conor Bradley.
And let's be real. The Leone thing, it looked great for 50 minutes. And
against who?
Against a team that is in the bottom half of the championship at the moment, who was heavily rotated, by the way.
Thank you.
He definitely looked like a player, and I think we would have seen minutes from him because of Konate's
Would he have started the Premier League game? Would he have started one?
I think he would have gotten at least one start so far, whether even if it was a Champions League with an eye to give him a chance, or to your point before, maybe then the manager would have been more comfortable to use Gomez at times at both center back and right back. Let's be real. If Gahey is signed on deadline day or a week before, Mark Gahey is the starter by October 1st, because I think that was the plan anyways.
Clear.
And right now, while we're in this crisis, Mark Gahey can do a job at right back if you need him to.
That's where the sympathy comes in, though, Gal. So I've got sympathy for him there in that sense, right? In terms of the signings and the lack of options that he has. But there's also part, mate, you've got to figure that out. All managers just don't walk into a team that's fully fledged. A manager doesn't walk into a team at any stage of a season and go, "This is the perfect squad." No, sometimes you've got spare parts and sometimes you've got bit part players and you've got to make it work. This manager just keeps rolling out the same centre mids. They're rolling out the same sub. Everyone knows that Konate Gravenberch sub. It's happening. It's happening. We know it's going to continue to happen. So what have you got to do? You've got to figure it out. You've got to figure it out.
So let's touch on tomorrow. Or Sunday. Let's look at it. Let's start from the front. This time we always start at the back.
Yeah.
Starting up top, two things. One, do you believe that Salah will get the start in both matches, West Ham and Sunderland, or do you think there's a world that potentially he drops him for one of those two?
No, he'll start both. Because why rock the boat before he's about to fuck off anyway?
I don't disagree. I'm just wondering because I think that starts to speak to who starts at the other positions. Now, are you in the camp? The good news that came out of the press conference was that Ekitike, though it was a recovery day, does not look like he will be forced out of training. So we do believe that he will be playing in this match. Do you expect Isak to start, seeing that he didn't start against PSV and that was the plan here? Because obviously they're playing him back into it and say, you bring Ekitike from the bench. Do you give Gakpo a rest? Who's starting through the middle? Who's starting on the left for you Sunday?
For me, if it was me picking the team, I'd be playing 4-4-2. But because I just think that the only way Liverpool are going to win football matches is to change the football matches into basically end-to-end kind of crazy football matches to the way that Liverpool are actually going to win. So, for example, if it was me personally, I'd have Isak and Ekitike both up front. I'd play a diamond of some sort. I'd have Gakpo left wing, I'd have Salah right wing, I'd have Szoboszlai behind the two strikers, and I'd have probably McAllister or Gravenberch playing in the six, because if it was, again, it depends how fit Gomez is, but I'd have Gomez centre half. I just think Gal, this thing of like this formation and this way of doing it, it's just not working. You've lost 9 and 12, your job's on the line. The best thing you can do is just turn the footy matches into fucking crazy ones and go, we're going to try and score 3 or 4. If you put 2 at the other end, sound.
It's Brendan Rodgers. It's Brendan Rodgers the year we have Suarez and we go for the title. We're going to win matches 4-3. We're not going to stop you.
I think we won 2 or 3 games, 5-3 that season. Like, we just had to turn them into a crazy batshit game. And I think that's the only way that Liverpool are getting out of jail here. I just think you just have to try it. Why not? What have you got to lose? Football matches? We lose football matches anyway. You're not fucking losing any. So, Gal, that's me. What this manager will do is roll out the same garbage I'm seeing anyway. I think he'll do Robertson. But by the way, I thought Kirchhoff was pretty good against PSV.
I thought that was the best we've seen him both going forward, and I thought at times he actually showed good positioning awareness. And I know he's getting killed a little bit for the third goal, or the second goal, not getting that side of the player. I think about 5 players in that buildup do terrible, right from Mo losing the ball to begin the play. They don't cut it off twice. Both center backs are out. He is clearly out of position in that spot. You want him to get on the other side, but at the same time, we've been saying he has to be pushed forward and needs to go forward and should be going forward. That was an instance where he was going forward to get into the attack, and literally they turned the ball over in a bad spot. And I hate to do it because it sounds like I'm piling on, but McAllister is giving him absolutely no cover on the left-hand side. And part of where I feel bad for Kirk is we're talking about how he can't build up from he's a problem in the build-out, and he's always passing the ball sideways. McAllister has been a shell of himself, and he's supposed to be the outlet for him. He's the pass if Gakpo isn't available. It's McAllister. And McAllister has been so rough in his touches where a couple times I think Kirkes has made the right pass and McAllister either gets done or immediately turns the ball over. I mean, the amount of times he lost the ball in possession against both Forest and PSV, McAllister was shockingly bad. And I know he had the little blip.
But what's his option?
Like you can't just show up against Real Madrid and play great and then decide you're back because you got up for an Anfield night against Madrid in the Champions League. Like, we could get up for that. The idea that they still can't figure out a way to go 1-0 down. They were a little better against PSV, but you should be when you're playing a team that is a lot less talented than you. So I think we've both landed on, we expect Gakpo, Isak, and Mo to start, but we would prefer Ekitike and Isak in some formation together, even if one of them's on the left.
Can't we just try it? Like, make your job's on the line. You've got probably 3 games to save your job. Like, you may as well fucking throw, some shit at the wall and see what sticks here. Do you know what I mean? And then just try it. Sometimes you can just fall into a way of playing. Sometimes, like, everyone talks about the Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp's a great example here. It was rock and roll football. I watched Liverpool in 1920. That wasn't rock and roll football. It absolutely wasn't when Liverpool won the league title. It was Liverpool grinding out results with a really hard work in midfield and then just absolutely counter-attack you and kill you, right? Because we had the players to do it. Sometimes you just fall into a way of playing. Your way of playing right now is not working, clearly. Do I have some sympathy for you for how unbalanced the squad is? Yes, of course I do. But you've still got to figure out a way of playing. Do we have sympathy when, like, again, going back to the Klopp argument, when Klopp walks in with the remnants of that last Brendan Rodgers squad? Do you know what he did, mate? He found a way of playing. You go to City and win 4-1. You go to Chelsea and win 3-1 when Chelsea were the league champions, and you get to 2 fucking cup finals. You can't still sit there and go. You've got to find a way of fitting some parts in where players can come in and just do the business for you for 3 months. Do you know what I mean? Like, for example, Endo's a great example in Jurgen Klopp's last season. He just comes in from January to March and he looks like a player for 12 weeks. And he just got him out of jail. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to find a way to make Chiesa look like a player for 6 weeks. The Chiesa argument's great. Do I think Chiesa's a great footballer? Absolutely not. No, I think Chiesa is a bang average footy player and should be no way near the Liverpool team if Liverpool are flying. That's my opinion. But when a player was like, for example, in late August, middle of September, when he was running hot, just run with him. Run with him for.
We talked to. I mean, he should have started against Palace. There's not even a two-way. I know Ekatike gets himself sent off, so they feel they have to go Isak, which is another one of these ridiculous sliding doors moments of the season.
Choice, though, isn't it?
Right? No, and this is I'm saying I am with you here. That's when you start him. What did he score? I think he had scored 3 goals in the first 5 matches.
I think he fought 3 and 5, yeah, something. Yeah.
And he was scoring, and he was giving you moments of energy. He still gives you determination and drive. I know he can do some heads in because it's kind of easy when everything is frantic and you're constantly down by 2 to just come on and then you get your stats by getting 4 shots on goal. But you're like, but 3 of those shots, you would have been the guys would have been F-bombing you if you had taken those shots. But at least he takes it. At least he takes those shots.
You agreed to him coming in. You agreed to it. Like, this isn't a Jurgen Klopp player. You agreed to it. You would have said, you want Chiesa, yes or no? And you went, yeah, go ahead, I'll take him. And now you've got him for a year, you've got him fit, you've actually got him in some sort of remnants of looking like a football player and won't play him. That's on you. You make that decision.
So I think we came to grips with the center, with who we think on the forward line will be there, whether we like it or not. In the midfield, there's not really an option, right? I mean, assuming now, let me ask you this, knowing Wirtz, sounds like Wirtz very well may train today, fully today, tomorrow, be on the bench at least potentially. Gives you another attacking option, obviously, if you want to change things up later. We're going to get to the right back question. Is your assumption the same 3 start in midfield and Jones at right back? Would you think about maybe dropping McAllister for this match and going with Szoboszlai, Jones, and Gravenberch, and then we'll get to right back and sort that out when we talk about defense? Like, what would you give McAllister a start in this match, or does he have to be dropped? Maybe even to the point where, like, maybe it is Endo.
I know what you're going to say. I know.
If that's the question, is that a step too far?
No,
is Endo a step too far?
No, if you're going to keep 4-3-3, no, it isn't, because we haven't got a midfielder. We haven't got a midfielder who takes a player down. We haven't got a midfielder who wins a tackle, who tries to win a tackle or tackles a man. They don't tackle. So at least when we're getting countered, for example, the second goal against PFV is a great example. If Endo gets over there, Endo just pulls the lad down, takes his booking, and go, yeah, you're going no further. No, we'll just let them swan 40 yards into our midfield, playing a lovely pass and score. Does Endo let that happen? And I'm not, by the way, Endo is not a very good football player. But what Endo is, he knows his game and he knows what he's there to do in that aspect. So why can't you just go to Endo? You can just sit there next to Gravenberch, let's say. Let Gravenberch push a bit further forward and go, if a lad comes, mate, you're only playing an hour anyway, take a yellow card. I would say to Endo, genuinely, in the team talk, if you were going to do Endo, if you get subbed, you're going to get subbed on 60. If you come off without a booking, you're not playing again. You should be coming off with a booking, because we're going to get counted eventually and you're going to pull someone. Do you know what I mean? We don't, again, Gally, we spoke about the dark hearts before. Liverpool, the easiest team in the world.
We don't do it.
We have no one. No one. Again, coming back to, like, again, the Forest game's a great example in that. When you've had with hard lines, no one surrounds the referee, no one takes a yellow card, no one. When was the last time one of our players got booked for arguing with the referee? I can't even remember. Like, I'd rather you do that. Properly do that. I think Chiesa did on the weekend, but it was a token one, whatever. I'm not interested. So if you're sticking with 4-3-3, I wouldn't be awfully against Endo starting alongside Gravenberch. If you're sticking with 4-3-3, if you're doing like a 4-4-2 diamond, Endo can't do it on his own. He can't play the 6 on his own. Do you know what I mean? So it depends in that aspect. We're going to assume the manager doesn't change shape here if we're having this conversation. I wouldn't be against doing Endo and Gravenberch at this point. I really wouldn't. I'm just saying to Endo, you can do an hour for me. Let Liverpool be in the game on the 60th minute. Let us be in the game.
Would that assumption then, if you're and I respect Bob here, he's a big Endo fan, clearly, and a big Klopp fan. We all are. Endo, some attributes are elite. I don't know. I would use the word elite. Really good. Klopp knew it and played it into his strengths. I don't disagree with that. We just talked about that second half of his final season. I would remind people that that was 2.5 years ago at this point. So basically, the player has aged 2 years since then, and that has to be taken into account. And what we've seen so far this year, Endo has not shown to me a player that should be starting Premier League matches. We are in a different period of time. And part of that for me comes down to what is happening at the back and the fact that we're having to dip into what is already a light midfield set of options. Because let's be real, if we're playing this style, this formation, Florian Wirtz is not a midfielder. He is an attacker. If you change the formation, if you go to more of a diamond, if you play something different, then Florian Wirtz may be able to be a hybrid attacking midfielder, right? That kind of moves in and out of those pockets. But in this 4-3-3 setup, he is not part of your midfield rank. So you have 4 plus an Endo, but you're having to force feed one of them back into your back line constantly.
You have 3 plus an Endo because Szoboszlai isn't an option in those 2 positions.
No, you're right in those. I'm even just saying in the engine room itself. You basically,
yes, okay, I'll go with that. Yeah,
because we've seen so far, Wirtz doesn't work playing in the Sobo role unless you cater to it for him.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the back. I think we both agree. Well, we all know one thing is for sure. Virgil van Dijk and a healthy Alisson will start. I think we both agree that Robertson will start, should start. It's a Premier League road match. I think it's important. I do think it would have been beneficial had Kirkes put in that performance to back that up with a start again, but not when Robo didn't start against Forest, and I don't think you're playing them 3 times in a row. Plus, I think if you did need to throw Kirkes on for Robertson late in the match, it is bringing on fresh legs who might be able to, if you need to attack second half, something like that, you might be able to go at it. But center back, right back, who's starting for you? And who starts for Cozzy Sunday? Do you start? Would you go Konate and Gomez at right back? Would you go Gomez at center back and literally run out Calvin Ramsey just to put a real right back? And I don't think that's an option, but like, because I don't want a midfielder there, not against West Ham.
I agree. I actually thought Jones was all right against their PSV. To be honest,
I thought he was too, but I think he's needed in midfield, or I have to watch McAllister from the start.
Yeah, it's a good point. I don't know. It probably is. It probably has to be Gomez, isn't it? It probably does. And then you probably got to do Konate because he has no options. Because, you know what I mean? But there's an argument, go. If my job's on the line, which his job is on the line, forget all this garbage that's coming out from the local journalist sites. You don't lose 9 and 12 at Liverpool and your job's not on the line. You don't lose fucking 17 or 19 games in a calendar year and your job is not on the line. It is on the line. Liverpool cannot afford to go and concede another 3 or 4 goals. But Liverpool also can't afford to lose another footy match. So there's a balance there. Now, why don't you just try something? Can Ramsey get you to half time? Can he do 45 minutes? That's it. You know what I mean? And then can Gomez do you an hour?
That was my logic was, could Gomez do you an hour? Could you maybe give yourself a base, build on something, have a more stable back defense?
He played,
and maybe it helps Konate too a little bit to have an actual defender next to him.
He played Endo last year in a League Cup semi-final, a centre-half away at Spurs.
Yeah.
I'm not saying let's play Endo centre-half. Fucking far from it, by the way. Right? What I'm getting at is, though, you did that in a League Cup semi when Liverpool had other options. You did it. So, why can't you do... I'm not saying let's play Endo right back. I'm not going with any of this kind of stuff. But you could also say with 5 minutes to go in a game or 10 minutes to go in a game, you could do Endo right back. I actually think it's unforgivable what he did there against Forest. To walk off that pitch 3-0 down, which they score in the 78th minute, games right, and he makes 4 subs. And you're 3-0 down at home and you don't think, I'll go and get 10 minutes in Calvin Ramsey's legs, I might need him. No. He walked off when he made 4 subs.
Well, that's why I mean, I said it all along. I would start in this match specifically. I think I would be starting Gomez at right back to get 60 minutes. Yeah, I would, and I would do 60 minutes. I'd do 60 minutes in Gomez, right? I'd get him off, and probably do the last 30 if I can. To your point, if I can,
I'd rather Gomez go centre half.
Yeah, well, maybe that is.
You don't want a midfielder. I get that, and it's a fair point. What your argument is that you don't want to see a midfielder right back, and I get it. But I can't see Konate again. Liverpool,
I know.
Liverpool won all in the game. Liverpool didn't come out second half of PSV, but won all in the game. And I know he's not really at fault for the second, but the second goal goes in. Gakpo misses that header at 2-1. Gakpo should just score and do the right thing, put the ball in the back of the net. So Liverpool's still in the game at 2-1, and then he takes the game away from you with his mistake again. He takes the game away.
And another thing I noticed, and we saw this earlier in the year with Kirkez at times, and we called him out for it, right? Both Kirkez and the players around him. They are genuinely avoiding passing him the ball when he is the right option to pass to. And when players on the pitch start to lose faith, like there was a moment where Mamadashvili looked up and the right ball was a little sideways pass to Konate, and he fucking hoofed it literally a mile up the pitch because he was like, I am not giving the ball to you again so that it's just coming right back down my fucking throat. And Virgil did the same thing a couple times. And that to me is the scary part.
Gal, sometimes, like, and go on what you're saying, because I think this is important. The players around are just fucking fed up with him. They
don't want to see him.
I reckon Van Dijk's just looking go, can you just give me someone else different today? Just give me an hour of someone else. Let me just work on my own game for a second and get my own shit right. But I don't need to keep looking over him, looking what he's doing. Do you know what I mean? I just think sometimes you've all played in team sports when you just look at a player and go, he's doing my head in him lately. He's doing my head in.
Maybe you're onto something then. Maybe the answer is we go Gomez. No, but we're talking about what we think will solve the problem. But
what I would do, fella, I'd sell them all tomorrow. But that's it. I'll play that kid who gets sent off every 5 minutes. That
Nalo. Oh, poor Tanuchin is literally breaking out in hives because you're bringing the kid up. And they're thinking about how easy it's going to be to play against 10 men for 85 minutes. I do Gomez. Now that we've talked it out a bit, and I can't believe I'm going to say this out loud, and it'll never happen because this would be radical change, and we haven't seen any form of radical change. I think I would do the Gomez, or I would do the Endo Gravenberch base and have them both sit there and give you some stability. I'd play Gomez and see if he can't make Virgil feel better. And you're 3/4 right there. You are 3/4 of your title-winning defense from the Jurgen Klopp team that won. You have Robertson at left. You have Ali in the six. So you're 4/5, right? You're just missing Trent in that case. And you play Jones maybe then at right back. You have McAllister, Wirtz, and maybe Ekitike from the bench, just assuming what he'll do. So now you actually have impact subs that can make a move. You can bring McAllister in. You can, because I do think you have to protect as well that you may need 90 from McAllister and Sunderland because Szoboszlai is a yellow away, and God knows he's the only person who runs on the team and works hard all match long, so he can pick up a yellow at any point.
It's not the end of the world, by the way. It's not the end of the world. Szoboszlai missing Sunderland at all. You could actually get him.
This is where I'm kind of coming to, and now you got minutes into Gomez's legs. You got minutes, and then you get Ramsey on second half. Slide Jones back into the midfield if you have to give Gravenberch some time or give Szoboszlai some time. Now you have a plan around, because I'm sorry, if Frimpong is not back, and no offense, I have more faith in Frimpong coming back from this injury than I have Connor Bradley coming back from his and continuing to stay fit, because we've had a longer track record of him missing time. So to me, you have to get Ramsey to the point where he can give you 15, 20 minutes of time. You just have to. We're just too weak at that position.
He won't do it. He didn't do it against Forest.
I know.
He makes 4 subs with 3-0 down at all. Why can't he just go, Ramsey, go and get 10? I might need you. He didn't do it. We are 4-1 down to PSV. 3-1 down at the time when you could have made that sub. I know, sorry, enough for Ramsey, for Gomez. You could have got Gomez on then. There's been times in the last 2 games where you could have went, this isn't working. There's lads here on the bench who need some minutes, i.e. Endo as well. You know what? Let's just throw them on for 10. Let's just try and get them up to speed. Let's just see. He doesn't want to try and get them up to speed. So I can feel sorry for the manager by the team and his injuries and all that, and the team's so lopsided in certain areas where he needs. I've got 100% sympathy for you. But I don't have sympathy when you're making ridiculous decisions That is on you. You and you only. And you. By the way, when he goes, this is my fault. Yes, it is your fault. You're picking the damn team. You can make different decisions when you pick them. If you go, well, Konate hasn't played well. Konate's costing him a goal every single footy match we play. He costs a goal. When you play in a sport like our sport that we follow, when it's such a slow amount of goals get scored and he's costing you one, it is a killer. A killer. So I'm just at the point, Gal, where I think the players will just want to look and go, I don't want to see him for an hour. I don't want to look at him. I just want Liverpool against West Ham. If you ask me what I want out of this game, is to not be getting beat on the hour mark. Don't be getting beat. So what that means is you go out there, you do what you do. By the way, for the first half against PSV, you bounced back, you played really well. You came off the second half, you were appalling until they scored the second. Horrific again. You like you were against Forest, horrific. Why can't you just go to Gomez? Get me an hour. Get me an hour if he's fit. Endo, can you get me an hour? If you can get me an hour, I know you can't do any more than that. And Liverpool are in the game. Well, my subs might come on and change the game. My subs might come on like Maka and find a bit more space when the game's a bit more open, and he might be able to do bits. Do you know what I mean? But what I'm seeing is the Gal. I haven't seen him try and do this. Do you know why? Because he hasn't made those subs in the previous games, which gives me no faith that he's going to do it. It's giving me no faith. I'll be amazed if it's. I'll be, apart from Alisson, I'll be amazed if he makes it more than 2 more changes from the team that started.
I think it'll be Robertson and Isak.
Yeah, and Fedekatike and Kirkes, and he rolls out the same shite. Because I'm just that baffled by the man. I was baffled by him last year. You know this. I don't know, it's getting worse and worse. We've scored 10, by the way, we've conceded 10 in 3 games.
Yeah, I saw that stat. It's on the numbers are so bad. I don't even go to them.
7
Madrid rejecting a Black Friday deal for Konate is killing me. So it was reported by David Ornstein, retweeted by a bunch of different aggregators, right? That Real Madrid have made it very clear and informed Liverpool officially that they have no interest in signing the France international 26-year-old. Unresolved LFC contract situation could still go either way. There's loads more on for the January and the summer transfer market. 2 things.
Mm-hmm.
First off, I could give 2 shits what Real Madrid says on November 28th because they say things all the time and they do things different. He could refine form. They could look at it. I've said all along, I thought the Madrid thing was more of a smokescreen. I've always felt he'd end up at PSG. I think they like him. He's born in Paris. He speaks French, plays for the national team. They seem to think he's captain material and he could replace Marquinhos as a leader. That is, maybe in the French league, you can get away with putting in the amount of 7 out of 10s and having them still look like it will work. Does this news in any way, could this impact him positively or negatively? Would it impact you in any way when it comes to the contract? Like, would you be even in negotiations with him over extending his current terms at the club at this point?
No.
So you just feel you've seen enough now, the 5 years he's been here. To me, there's been a regression. And I actually, someone said it in the chat earlier. I think it was Bob, maybe. He has regressed at the same time as we have seen Virgil van Dijk actually show some small, subtle signs of aging, which to me just means he was getting papered over the cracks of his faults for all these years with his pace and his recovery and the tactics around him. And ultimately, I've always said it, I've never seen him give me an 8 out of 10 performance when Virgil van Dijk's not on the pitch. And if you can't do that, and I saw that from Matip, hell, let's be fair. I saw Lovren at times give you a random off day, be the best defender on the field without Virgil van Dijk. Because at least absolutely Gomez. He had the I would argue at times during the title winning season, as great as Van Dijk was, Gomez was the best player on the side. Yeah. He was so underrated in that championship running year. So you would not be in the Konate world. No. How imperative now is Mark Gahey or someone coming through the door, and not just through the door in January, but literally through the door at 12:01 on New Year's Eve?
extremely important. And the reason why I'm saying this for people is it's not about this season, about next, which no one seems to be considering. If you feel like Van Dijk's losing his legs and you get a £30 million bid in from Saudi, you have a chat. Leone is coming back from an ACL injury. He's not an option next season either because the kid has to get fit in that. And then Joe Gomez. And then you lose Canate on a free. Liverpool need 3 centre-halves next summer. Next summer. Never mind what we need in the winter. It's next summer. So this, again, comes a part of the bigger conversation, not just around Canate. It's about Liverpool still technically in the midst of a rebuild in terms of what they need, in terms of the midfield. We know Liverpool need a midfielder as well. We probably agree with that. There's probably an argument Liverpool need another right back. There's probably an argument we need 3 centre-halves. You have a conversation around the goalkeeper in terms of, is Mamardashvili your number one? Everyone keeps saying this. Mamardashvili's a backup. He's not a backup. He was signed to be the number one eventually. Do you know what I mean? So is he the number one going forward? Gally, would he your number one? Yes or no? Probably not. And then you have a conversation around Salah. So Liverpool's still in the midst of a rebuild. So the bigger conversation that Edwards and Hughes are going to have is this the manager that we want to throw another 6 or 7 players on? That's the conversation now. It's not the conversation of, oh, well, Liverpool need a centre-half for now. Yeah, of course they still need a centre-half for now. But is it the centre-half that we want this manager to be coaching? And the next 7 players, or at least 5 players probably in the next summer for Liverpool to be coaching? Is he the manager that we want? That's the conversation that they got to have. It's not the conversation of what happens this season. It's like, hey, we're going to about to do another 200 to 300 million in the summer. Is he the one? Do you know what I mean? And because right now we can sit there and say, oh, we have Wirtz and Isaac and Ekatiko. You know, they're unbelievable football players. They are unbelievable individual football players. But we need a manager to get the best out of them. And based on what we've seen this season, he hasn't maybe able to get the best out of Isaac. Is that fair to say? Is that he hasn't been able to get the best out of Wirtz? When we've seen a lot of Wirtz. Has he been able to get the best out of him? No. Has he been able to get the best out of Kirches? No. So the conversation is, Gally, if me and you were in the board here, we need to find a manager. If he's the man going forward to get the best out of these players, Liverpool will have a list. Let's just say it's Adam Wharton. Please. Adam Wharton. It's Mark Gay. It's probably another centre-half. It's a right winger. Let's just say Minter out of Brighton. I don't think he's that good, by the way. But I say Minter. Say they want to look at Tony Gordon again. He's been poor for 6 months, but let's just say it is. Is he the one? Is he the one? That's the question. What do you think?
Yeah, and I don't think they have that answer. I will say I've said it before to you. I don't believe he'll be fired within the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I do think it's a lot.
You don't think? No?
I don't, and I think there's a better chance. I think there's a better chance he resigns, and in this resignation, that would be a negotiated resignation with the club, where him and the club determine how much money he leaves with, right? So he'll leave with some of his money. But and it's not a ton, by the way, because he's never signed an extension. So he's still working on his first 3.5-year contract that he signed when he took over. I do think there's a world where he resigns for 2 reasons.
Talk to me.
Same reason we both talked about Amorim potentially walking, because he has to think about not diluting his own CV. So it makes another job. Like, if he stays and it gets so much worse at Liverpool to the point they have to fire him, he may never get another one of these top jobs offered to him again, or he may have to do 2 of the lower level jobs. You know, you may have to manage Spurs, which he avoided once already, and then got the Liverpool job and ended up winning a title. I still think there is a very good coach there. I still think he will be successful, and it wouldn't shock me if he were to get bombed out and he went somewhere else, rebuilt his image a bit, and then got a big job eventually. And maybe he just wasn't ready yet. Maybe this was just a bad mix, or these players, to your point, aren't a good fit for him. But see, this is the thing. Dara says, what Liverpool manager has resigned after winning the Premier League? Every single one of them, to be honest. Liverpool has never fired a manager who delivered a league title in any league. So that is a big. And I don't think FSG likes to be the first, right? They've proven they step on rakes. If you want to talk about Sideshow Bob, FSG and John Henry basically were Sideshow Bob for better parts of 7-8 years, stepping on rakes. I could see over Christmas them negotiating with him. You're going to step down to start January. We're going to hire an interim manager and a caretaker to get us through the end of the year. But they don't fire them usually. And I think they will try their hardest not to fire this manager. Maybe he'll dig in and force it. But I've thrown out, I know you really like Iriola. I personally have thrown out the Nagelsmann links in the past because I know FSG looked at him in the past, which means, and they are very much like a radar type club. And I could see why those links, I'm not saying those links are there. I don't believe Gerrard is an option. I don't believe, and I wouldn't even hire him as a caretaker because you saw what that did to the Chelsea supporters during that second round of Lampard. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer set Man United back 4 years by getting one huge result in the Champions League against PSG and those two ridiculous penalties that Rashford took.
I know what you're saying, Gal. I know what you're saying, and I get the argument that people are saying, well, who'd you get? Right. And I get that. That's a fair point. But guess what, Gal? It's not my job. People need to realise this, right? Because I always think this is important. When we all have jobs. We're all been under managers we don't like. And we go, I wish this manager would go. Does the HR lady come to you and go, well, who should we get? No, it's not my job, but I don't like this one. So it's Hughes and Edwards' job. You found Slot. I didn't know of him until he fucking basically came to Liverpool. I didn't know who he was. You found him. So I want the guys in charge to go and find it. It doesn't mean we sit there and go, well, who do you want? What kind of...
I'm not even giving you the give me a name. My point, though, is I think they still do believe in this guy. And that is... I think they're going to... No, I know you've said it. You want him to succeed and get out of this because that means Liverpool's winning football matches. And nobody wants to change managers mid-season. What I will say is I think you are right where we're on a cusp, though, because they bought him $400 million worth of players in the summer. They might have stonewalled him and pushed out Diaz when he, by all reports, and they are big, credible journalists that are reporting now. And we understand that, but he's gone, and it was good business, and you have to move on from that.
You have sympathy for that, though.
Where I do agree with you is I think if you ask them to now go buy another 130 million worth of players in January and another 250 million of players next summer, right? You need to know this is the guy that we want, because I'll give you an example. On January 1st, I expect Harvey Elliott to be back at Liverpool Football Club.
So do I.
I need to make sure before I sell him at a cheaper price than I already thought was too cheap that we agreed to sell him to Villa for, because I wanted 50 million and we were getting offered 35, right? And a 1-year loan fee. If he won't even fetch that now after he's gone and can't even make a match day squad at a club with a pretty top manager in Unai Emery.
Good players.
So my point, though, is if he comes back in January, a different manager might say, that kid's part of my midfield. That kid's part of my plans. Exactly. I'm going to a 4-man midfield diamond, and I think Harvey Elliott can play on the right of that diamond and do a job for me.
I think he does.
And maybe you see a manager say, I'm just telling you right now, I would have never let you bomb this Kwanzaa kid off. He's going to start for England at the World Cup. And I'm not saying I'm against either of those moves, because I got to raise my hand. I was in favor of those moves in the summer. I don't love the Elliott one. I liked it for the player, and I thought he was forcing it, but it was clearly bad decision-making on both parts.
I thought Kwanzaa was hung out to dry by the manager.
And that's the one area where I am starting to come further towards it isn't even about whether I think a new manager will change things. It's if we aren't connected to this man long-term. Exactly. I need to see something between now and early January that gives me hope that things are turning around. They're not going to click, because clicking makes it sound like this would be easy. And this is going to take hard work by everybody at the club. Yeah. Everybody. And the coaches need to get better. The players need to be way more resilient. And I need to see more of a drive and a physicality. I'll get you out of here on this. I honestly don't even want predictions, because I feel like my predictions at this point are only with my heart and not my head. Because if I was predicting with my head, the best I'd probably predict is a draw. And I'm not doing that on this show.
I think we'll get beat 2-0.
That's brutal. Did you catch Curtis Jones's comments after the match?
Yeah.
As our resident scouts are on this panel and on our channel, didn't surprise me. I was very much expecting it. I didn't read into it like that was a shot at players or the manager. It was more just a local lad being absolutely. He spoke as a supporter at that moment, not a player, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, as someone from the city, how much is this, like, how much of this is weighing on both the supporters, their like daily routines? Because we're seeing it in social media, people snapping at each other. People leaving the grounds early. Liverpool booing their own players you don't see it often. I mean, we saw it with Trent, obviously, but you don't see it often. There were boos in the stadium against PSV, and I thought rightfully so, especially when it went to 3-1 and they quit. Let's be real. They absolutely quit. So do the words help? Were those words for the players in the dressing room? Were they for the supporters so that they know someone's as angry as them? Or was it just like me and you ranking on Discord? He just did it to BBC and Sky.
I think that's exactly it. I just think it's just a lad who's just basically giving you a general overview of the situation, of how he feels. And sometimes you want to see players come out and speak honestly and dig in and kind of understand that. And I adore Curtis. I think and it's not because of where he's from. I just think he's a very underrated football player, and I think he's extremely valuable to Liverpool. And it's not about where he's from. It's more the fact of, it's great saying it, lads, but you've got to do it on the field. It's okay saying you've all got to be dogs and, we're in the shit. We know we're in the shit. We look at the league table. We see the results.
We are also in the shit.
We're in the shit with you. We're going through this. We're going through this misery at the moment of how Liverpool are playing, and the kind of general society of what we're in terms of the team. Liverpool, we've seen bad footy teams. This is a bad football team. I don't care what anyone says. They're a very bad football team because they have all again, as I said at the start, they do all the traits of a bad football team, which makes them one. Now, what I will not accept is you farming it in. What that means is that it's basically just throwing the towel in when a football game's on. It's not acceptable. They are not acceptable. What they are doing is not acceptable at the moment. And it's part of the players, but it's also part of the manager, because you've seen enough from certain players where you know what they are. What's that famous saying? When someone shows you their true selves, believe them. When someone shows you the true selves, you believe them. You believe what Canate is. People go, but he gets up to the right front. Listen, mate, I've seen Virgil van Dijk for 8 to 9 years carry good centre-halves to be world class.
Every single one of them next to him.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're bad players. They're good players, but they're not Liverpool level. But he's carried them. He's elevated them to be Liverpool football players. By the way, that's full credit to them as well. Realising when you're in a good situation and raising your level. That's by the way, a lot of, in my opinion, a lot of life is like that, general life. Realise when you've got it good and you go again. Realise when someone gives you a shot and you go, fuck this, I'm taking it, bang, and go.
Yeah.
But he's picking these players. How about... That's why we're having the conversation. I can't believe we're having this conversation in the middle of November in 2025 about Endo maybe getting a Premier League start. But we're having that conversation.
And Calvin Ramsey.
We're having that conversation, because you know what you're getting out of him, which is a bit of heart, a bit of desire, and someone who can just tackle a bit. Someone who's got a bit of the dark heart about him. Someone who doesn't lose the ball on the half turn, like all our midfielders do.
I don't think it was with you. I think it was maybe after the Forest match, and I literally might have been messaging it in Discord, and it was after halftime. I said I would have been more okay with a Liverpool player literally taking a red card 15 seconds into the second half and down a goal to Forest than I would be conceding the way we did 42 seconds in, and knowing not only is it over, they emotionally had checked out of the match, because even at 2-0, you're not actually out of that match. But you are, because you never put a glove on him again, and you give up, 7 passes from a set piece to a Sean Dice team who actually came out and attacked you because he knew you were weak. He knew that off that set piece. I mean, that is a fullback to fullback goal scored where a fullback just wanders into the box.
Smelt blood. Here's the thing with the West Ham game, going back to the game this weekend before we wrap up. I think Liverpool will lose 2-0. I think Liverpool will be great for the first 20 minutes. Look all right. And if you're West Ham, you go, just stay in the game. They'll give you one. They'll give you the set piece or they'll give you the chance. You'll take it. And then you're playing a completely different team when you go 1-0 down.
Well, that's it. Bob's going to get us out of here with slot out, Cozzy in. Said nobody ever.
If I'm going in.
Yeah, we're in real trouble if that's the case. We're going absolute 4-4-2. Big Red is probably starting at center back alongside Virgil van Dijk. But in all seriousness, thank you to everyone. It was a great show. Lots of contributions from Heavy Kev 42, Bob Paddock, Diluted Steve. I do love Diluted Steve's positivity. We're still going to win the league. I'm with Gally, slot in.
At least his name goes along with the comment.
I want to be clear. I'm not sure that in this hour it came across that I am slot in. I'm a lot closer now than I was before. Tony says, love these two presenting. Tony, I've said it in the past, man. You can figure out a good way to get your comments read, and that is be complimentary to the presenters and or especially the host. We enjoy Friday mornings as well, guys.
I used to prefer them when Liverpool won games, though.
I was going to say, I would really, really, really like to do one of these shows where we actually come on talking about a victory.
We have 2 games before next Friday. Gally, before we wrap up, how many points are Liverpool taking in the next 2 before we can meet again?
I'm gonna offset your negativity of the 2-0. I'm gonna say neither are pretty, but we find a way to get 2 wins.
Oh wow!
I do. I think. Well, I actually rate Sunderland. I rate the Sunderland fixture at home as good as they've been. I think that's a good fixture for us. The way they play plays into it. The biggest thing with West Ham, to your point, is we need a clean sheet through 30 minutes minimum. I mean, I want it through 60, but we need it through 30 minimum, and we need to score the first goal regardless of when it comes. But I'll take that thing bouncing off,
let's end
bounce off Tillman's face. This would be the greatest 1-0 jammy, awful own goal, and I would celebrate it like I'd literally celebrate it like Isak scored a freaking worldie in the 90th minute.
I would celebrate a clean sheet like it's a Christmas miracle if Liverpool get a clean sheet. Wow.
That's probably because it would be. With that, we will end it. We started with Thanksgiving. We ending it with Christmas miracles. It's Black Friday, folks. Get out there and shop, or don't bother going shopping. But God damn it, fucking get 3 points, Reds. All right, we'll be back next Friday.